here on the Frisco Friday. What's happening, boys?
We made it in. Yeah, Willard and Dibs made it in. Mark was navigating some North Bay quandaries.
No
just to
problems. No problems.
not
Got
an
here
issue
with
at all.
at least 11 seconds to spare.
And that's the beauty of doing morning show, and I did it for like 17, 18 years, that, you leave your house at whatever, 3:48, 4:02, whatever it is, and even if there are
5:30.
calamities, well, I mean, Mr. No Show Prep over here, but yeah, the King breezes in.
Well, no, he doesn't breeze in. They lift him up and carry him in.
Yeah, and one of those rickshaws.
Yes.
Bonte Hill on a rickshaw.
There you go.
Coming in at 6:00. It's funny because I used to have a job on another radio station, and my job was to start the show at 5 a.m. with a sports and traffic update. There'd be times when I would be running in at 4:59:55, and like my sounder would be playing, and I'd be like, "Wow, the Giants last night! Well, quite a game!
Great way to start your year.
Load sound.
Did you ever have to do the turn the mic off to take a breath because you're panting? Because I did the exact same thing. You're running up the stairs.
Diamondbacks, quite a game. Playing sound, play some sound.
Been there at least 48 times.
Dude,
oh my
doubled
God,
over, just gasping. So I get that. But my guy Mark Willard, he made it. It was a navigation sensation.
So is there a Willard watch party tomorrow? We were talking about this, and I want to tease you a little on this.
Yeah,
the watch party thing for big games, I just can't do it. And I know that you've invited, and it's very gracious.
I don't do watch parties for preseason games.
Well, no, my team's involved.
That's fine.
No, I know everyone watches how they want to watch. I'm not trying to be fancy.
Zero on-air people have ever said yes, and that's fine. You're missing unbelievable food and great company and people who will be as dialed in as you, but that's fine.
Well, you got to
I'm
understand.
still waiting for my invite.
That's fine.
It didn't really come.
My
out.
wife is embarrassed by my actions while watching games. So,
and I get that. I get that.
She literally is like I'm not. This is like a real thing, Like I can only watch around certain people,
brother.
And she knows this.
This is. You're talking to a human being. You're talking to a human being who used his dad's den when I was a kid. The reason I know exactly, as we all do, the reason I was by myself in my dad's den when the '89 earthquake hit and all of his tennis trophies were flying at my head.
Wow, multiple drops there.
Is because when it's a big game, I go get locked in, and I don't want my sister and my mom. No. Oh, did you do your homework? Get out of here. I'm locked the heck in.
Mom, the meatloaf.
Very, very careful about who gets invited. And by the way, so the audience knows, none of y'all got invited this time. There's no the watch party tomorrow is going to be quaint. It's going to be small. It has been highly selective.
Oh, nice.
In terms of who is going to be led into this situation.
Is Guru invited?
No, none of y'all were invited
Guru
tomorrow.
will tell you he's coming, and then.
Well, that's how Guru invites people to his party too.
Go there.
Yeah. I'm right. I'm not. I'm still waiting for my invite to his party. But anyway, it's all good.
He
it's all
invited
good.
all of us to his kid's graduation party, and it was I Google mapped it. It was 107 miles away.
I mean, listen, I'd have gone to the game like you guys tomorrow if I had tickets. I don't have tickets.
You went to a lot of games this year.
No.
Just road games?
I can't.
Oh, I thought you went to a couple home games.
A couple road games.
I went to 2 home games. He went to 2 road games.
Are you going on Saturday?
No, I can't make it.
So you're forcing me into a massive drip drop here. I can't go to Sunday games because, I have my show at 5 o'clock on Sunday. So
I forgot about that.
This Saturday thing is killing me because I'm contracted to referee Saturdays. I'm reffing 9 games tomorrow.
This guy's watching tomorrow night's game at about 10 o'clock tomorrow night is when you're going to watch that game.
No, phone will be on. And actually, my beloved supper, my lovely wife asked me, she said, are you going to try and stay in the dark? And I said, there's no way.
It's impossible.
It's impossible. So I'm going to monitor during, timeouts, media timeouts in my 4th grade and 5th grade CYO.
Yeah.
I will know the score. And then my drive home, I'll catch the second game. And when I get home at about 7:30, 7:45, bag of ice. Boom, let's watch the game.
Last year when the Rams were in the Super Bowl, we had a basketball game that had to get rescheduled on that same day for the Super Bowl, okay? And because I brought the iPad anyway for everybody, for the referees, the guy doing the clock and the book and all that. And it was great. Everyone was watching on the iPad in between timeouts. And I can't watch. When my team loses that close to it, I almost can't watch the game itself. But I brought it for everyone else, and so the other referees.
So I could bring my computer tomorrow and shout out Xfinity and the great Xfinity. I could stream it and I could put it on my laptop. But honestly, I don't think that this game is going to be that much in the balance to where I'm not that worried about this game at all.
I am.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I am.
Really?
Playoff games are just
different. It's a playoff game,
yeah. They're just different.
Right. It's a playoff game. And I know that if they lose, they're going to be knocked out. And they have a rookie quarterback and all the rest of it.
Yeah, like look, they're the way better team, but and I'm not going to immediately go to the weather, but like it's an NFL game.
Yeah.
They literally call this thing the witching hour at 12:30 every Sunday because
wins turn into losses.
Bananas
and
stuff
losses turns into wins.
happens every single week. Like, why can't a survivor pool get past week 5? Because the really good teams don't always win their games. So like, I don't know. That's an interesting comment because I am like stress turned all the way up.
And I feel like if they lose this one, like we were talking, and everyone, we're gonna win. I get that. If you lose this, you got like 20-something free agents. Now that's the case every year. You got a lot of staff you're gonna have to overhaul. There's a lot of and we'll get to all of that naturally. I know.
Yeah.
We'll
the
get to all
biggest
that.
question is going to be the quarterback.
No, it's not just that. You lost a big game against a divisional rival again, and you swept during the regular season. It's all meaningless because you've lost to those guys. Game planning in the playoffs, like. There's just a lot. I don't even want to go through all that.
Well, and Bonte, you mentioned the QB. I sort of think like you're almost starting the game of quarterback survivor right now, which is that with each win, his percentage of being the presumptive starter next year goes up.
It's a great point.
And so if he loses tomorrow, and obviously there's a monsoon expected and all this, and so factor all that into quarterback play. But if he loses tomorrow, the question is as large as it could possibly be with regard to what next year looks like.
Anybody concerned about Purdy tomorrow? First playoff game ever?
No,
like
this is Geno Smith's first playoff game ever, too.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm more worried about the interior of the O-line, which we haven't talked about. Brendel, Banks, Burford. I think Banks is back this week.
Banks is back.
Right. As unproven as Purdy is in the playoffs, so is that line. And like losing the point of attack is something I think all of us like. Seattle assume we're going to run the ball.
But does Seattle have anybody on that side of the football?
No,
Shelby Harris, is he scary?
You know who I'm concerned about, and I hate to put this out there in terms of like, Ray on special teams.
Oh, gosh, he's going to fumble.
Special teams. I'm not saying he's going to go Kyle Williams.
I'm with you.
Ray McLeod has been unbelievable. He's been sketch, but he's also been explosive.
Really
he's been the best returner since Ted Ginn Jr.
Correct.
While simultaneously scaring the crap out of me.
And that's what I'm saying. On a wet field, Ray McLeod in a game where there's going to be a lot of punts. But I'm concerned about a Ray ball security.
How many times has he actually fumbled this year? I know we're scared about it all the time. He's only fumbled a couple times.
He fumbled on an end around, and then he juggled a couple of balls.
It's juggling, baby.
And he gets cracked.
Go ahead, baby.
Well, he's a special teamer.
I know.
Right, he's punt returners. They all get cracked. That's
the deal.
I don't really concern myself with the interior of the offensive line. They've been solid all year. Ray McLeod, we'll see. David Akers, he's more Robbie Gold.
Wow.
Ray worship.
Robbie Gold, just like
we were talking about Mike Kofer
just like the kicking game scares me.
I coached against him in East Bay Soccer.
Mike
No, I'm sorry, that was Doug Bryan. Yeah.
Doug Bryan.
Doug Bryan. Cal.
It's funny because I was coaching under 8 soccer. We had an elite team.
Yeah.
He had an under 8 girls team. One day I saw Doug and he's like, "What about our teams scrimmaging?" And so we played. We were the Fireballs. They were the Fireballs. My under 8s against his under 8s. My boys come out. You've never seen a cockier group of 7-year-olds, and all of a sudden, 10 minutes in, we're in the deep water.
Oh, they dragged you into the deep water.
These girls are taking it to us, and all of a sudden, these boys are like, they're getting all mad. Dude, we gutted out a 1-0 victory. And I've never seen 8-year-old boys try harder in my life.
I love that.
Dude, we were in the deep water against Doug Bryan's team.
The biggest concern that I think is going to loom all playoff is if the Niners advance, you get the next week, you get to the title game, you get to the Super Bowl, it's the back end of the secondary. It's the deep shots. Commanders, Bucks, Dolphins, Chiefs. Last week, Arizona secondary. Diamondor Lenore, and Hufanga his eyes has been caught in the backfield. Guys are going right by him. Deep down
they got it. Listen, the 49ers in the Shanahan era, the deal is in the secondary is the secondary gets helped by the pass rush.
Yes.
Right? And so I know it's not on the pass rush, but that's where they've decided to build an elite group. And so it's got to get its deal done because you see against the Raiders what happens if you don't pressure the quarterback. You're the 49ers. They're going to make a bunch of plays on you. So, but against a bunch of rookies on the offensive line for the Seahawks, like, if you ask me what my concerns are, there are none other than that it's a football game. It's a football game in the rain and a playoff game, and anything can happen. But they've got the answer at every position. And like you guys ask about Purdy, the only thing that's really different about a playoff game versus a regular game is the intensity. And that's something that I think is a strength of his. he does not get beat by the moment. He may get beat by arm strength. He may get beat by a rush up the middle. But like Brock, if he's shown anything, is that he is not scared. He's like, that's literally the number one characteristic I've noticed.
1 in 3 as a quarterback in bowl games.
And those are intense.
Question, Dibs.
There's at least 12 people there.
I'm dealing in facts, Mark.
December 22nd.
You know what, Dibs? I'm glad you said that because
of course.
Big game against Iowa, rivalry game, in-state rivalry. He got benched.
Your boy
against the Iowa
Campbell, he got
Hawkeyes.
benched.
Playing the lesser team.
Straight
Ferentz.
benched.
No, they were the favorite that year. College game day was their names, Iowa.
No answer
So I
for
was out on
Ferentz.
Brock Purdy. I bet on that game.
Dibs.
Threw 3 or 4 picks
Man.
in that game.
now-
Mark, you better do your homework.
Now we know why you're upset. You bet on that game. You bet on that game.
Huh? It's a
this-
must-win.
okay,
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, you go home if you lose.
This is the epitome
I just
of the must-win.
Okay, but because we in other sports, I'm with
I
you.
hate
I
when
know
all
you
of
do.
you guys use.
So is this must win?
Oh, it's a must-win. Oh, the Warriors. This guy, the Warriors and the Phoenix Suns. It's a
I
gotta
did
have
not.
it.
I did not.
No,
I
but you
called
were
it
like
neither.
trying to hype it up as a
No,
gotta have it.
sense.
my
game.
label for that was it's not must win, it's not got to have it, but this is incredibly stupid if you lose it. And then they did. And I thought it was incredibly stupid.
And now the panic
Yeah.
meter's back out.
Oh, it is.
No,
Yeah.
I put the panic meter to bed.
No, you can't do that. It's my panic meter.
Well, you
Defend
can do
it's
it.
there.
I
That's your panic
don't. My
meter.
panic meter is going to be at 0 no matter what, so you don't even need to ask me.
The panic
Don't
meter's
panic.
been it's been out the whole time. This team is broken, but yes, it's a
You're
must
talking about
win.
the Warriors.
Yeah,
okay.
the Warriors. But if the Niners lose this game, wow, that's. I mean, you hate to say who is to blame, quote unquote, but this on Kyle Shanahan's resume would be a very bad
Okay,
What
so
about the meat shield of a rookie?
that's kind of why it's two
No
different
meat
questions,
shield.
though.
None?
He's undefeated.
Well, so that's
I push back on the lose big game thing because it diminishes all the big games you've won to get to a big game to finally lose.
You
I just-
lose
you know
at
what it
home
is,
to
though?
Okay.
this,
But
to this
it's-
you know what I'm
dominating
saying?
I
team.
totally get what you're
Yeah,
saying
but
because
you know what, though?
It's unfair.
No,
it's
because-
not unfair because it's how you lose the big games.
They've won
When you
10 in
do-
a row.
Yeah, but how you lose
Big
the big
deal.
that's this year. That's this year. Nobody will care if they lose this game.
Exactly.
And then what people will say, well, you won 10 in a row, but you beat the Commanders, not a playoff
Right,
team.
but-
You beat Arizona twice, not a playoff team, but joke, fired their coach. Who else did you beat
The only
that were
good
not
team you
playoff
played,
teams?
they motorboated you.
You both,
Shout out O'Neal.
you both have a point based on perspective. But here's Joe why
Mike Williams out for the
like-
Chargers.
He's out. Yeah, so Brandon Staley should be out
Can I
too.
trade Justin Herbert in our league?
Jeez.
Dude, I told you guys that was so
Unbelievable.
dumb.
It's so
You
dumb.
and I saw the same thing.
So anyway, though, to the point that you're saying, when we do that to players, and historically we've watched how many times it's been a faux point.
Yeah.
We do this to players, and it inherently means that you are putting all your eggs into an incredibly small sample. To say that somebody is good for 16 games, 162 games or whatever, and then you're like, and then the Yankees did this to Aaron Judge last year.
Yes.
Oh, all of a sudden you stink
Yeah.
in one game.
In a 3-game series.
It's like, calm down.
Exactly.
Barry Bonds can't play in the postseason.
Exactly.
Then he owned the Angels. Peyton Manning can't play in the postseason. 2 Super Bowls. Like you
But it
gotta
took him a while.
Yeah. So I'm
It
not
takes a
saying
while.
saying it's not a thing. And obviously we remember the big games. But if Brock Purdy has, like if it doesn't look good in a rainstorm tomorrow, if it doesn't look
Yeah.
perfect, I'm not going to be like, well, he clearly
but it's-
stinks
but
in
it's the
big
ty-
moments.
but
No,
the
it's
type
not
of big
about Brock
games-
Purdy. It's about Shanahan.
Yeah, it is about Shanahan.
If
and it's
they
about
lose-
But Shanahan
this
has
goes-
had great
I'm
moments
with you.
in big
Yes,
moments.
but
Mark here.
you
He's
won
had
10 in a
great
row. Big deal if you don't beat Seattle.
Are we
It
really?
means nothing.
Wait a minute. Wait a
It
minute.
means
Wait,
nothing.
Hold on.
nothing?
Hold on,
Meet me in the
Dibs.
middle.
Look me in the eye.
Mean a little
Look
something.
me in the
You
eye,
lose
Dibs.
as the 2 seed
Dibs.
at home to a Seattle team that's a 10-point underdog.
Dibs.
I mean, Mark,
You're
Walsh
setting
did that
yourself
to the
up.
Vikings. They
And he
were the
almost got
number 1
fired.
seed. They were the number 1 seed. They lost to a Viking team
Hold
that no one wanted to lose.
After this year, you're going to put out in the public before the game even happens. After this year and everything we've learned about how awesome
He's been awesome.
Kyle Shanahan is.
He's been awesome.
You're going to send him out for one game in a driving rainstorm and tell me
driving
that, hold
rainstorm.
on, you're
Because Seattle's playing on a dry field. You're
no,
right.
but Dibs, it's football.
Right.
You're going to now already say after this year, Kyle Shanahan's a choke if he loses tomorrow.
I'm not saying he gets fired.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying that on his resume, this is just another piece of Kyle Shanahan in the
No,
playoffs.
that's nothing to laugh at. I'm
Dude,
kind of with
they're
this.
10-point
All right.
favorites.
All right,
Dibs.
let's get a different
no,
coach.
No,
But
Dibs,
what
no,
about
hold on,
weekend
Dibs,
I'm
say
not
something
saying
about
let's
this.
get a different coach. And
No,
don't
I know
don't
he's
put
saying
words in
that.
my mouth.
He is
And don't
not-
tell me to calm down either.
Don't you point at me
Don't
like
you
that.
tell me
Nobody's
to
putting
calm
Shanahan
down.
on the hot seat.
Thank
He's
you.
such a good
Nobody's
coach.
putting
He's a great
nobody's
coach.
not-
Such a
We're not
good
saying
coach.
that, Mark.
No,
We're not
Mark.
saying he's not a good coach. We're not saying it.
If you
We're
lose
not
to
saying
Seattle as a 10-point favorite at home, is that a good
Mark,
thing or a bad
I think
thing?
what Dibs is
it's
saying.
I mean, it's
Mark's saying it's a good thing.
It's a game. It's a
Put
game.
words in his mouth
It's a
now.
bad
It's a
thing.
game
It's
that you lose, and it looks bad on the resume because of the big games that you lost. Super Bowl 54. What do we always say about Super Bowl 54? The casuals will blame Jimmy Garoppolo. But I look at Kyle Shanahan saying, you know what? He didn't coach a great game. He coached a little nervous, coached a little scared
But what
in
about
that
the
game.
other team? We never give credit. Like Seattle tomorrow. Let's say Seattle comes out, they're playing on fire. They do all the What if the other team just outplays you? How is that always on the coach? Losing a big game.
Speaking of the coach, did you see Pete Carroll's comments that got pulled from, I don't even know, some podcast?
On a Sunday night.
He's like, we're going to be so tough to beat right now. Like, he is playing this thing
I'm with
like
you.
a damn fiddle, and he's just playing with the public.
Yeah.
He's working the brains of his own players and whatnot. But this idea that he put out public the other day about, too bad we're playing the Niners because we can't beat them.
It's Phil Jackson
bunch of bull.
posturing. It's Phil Jackson posturing to the media.
I'm kind of stunned at both of you guys because what Dibs is saying, I think, is spot on. If Shanahan was to lose this game, I get it. It's in the rain. This will look so bad considering how they lost the NFC Championship game, with some of the decision makings, and how is it going to play out tomorrow with Brock Purdy?
And considering how dominant they've been over this team and in this matchup this season, they've owned Seattle.
You guys you're making up a scenario, and we don't even know what it looks like.
Yeah, like when the Buffalo lost to Kansas City last year. Were we ready to run McDermott out of town?
This is not Buffalo, and this is not Kansas City.
But every time somebody,
this is a team.
This is what you guys do. This is what you do.
This is what you two do.
We question.
You two do this.
We question Kyle Shanahan, and all of a sudden people are saying run him out of town. Ain't nobody saying that.
We didn't say that.
It's Fontaine Dibs Monday, 6 to 9. That's it. Butcher, you've been treated at midday.
You guys trying to run him out of town.
My dudes. My dudes.
I'm not even getting him a
You got
ordering him a rider truck.
You got four
bags.
people in a room with red cheeks right now screaming about a coach who's won 10 games in a row and making up a scenario that doesn't even exist and then hanging it on him if it happens without knowing how it even happens. So what? Is it bad if they lose? Yeah. Great point. Like, the bottom line is, I'm not here for any more in this moment Kyle Shanahan discussion. If you're a 49er fan,
I'm sorry about that.
You have got one of the best coaches in the damn game. Period. Let's move on to something else.
I'm with you.
That's it.
Yeah,
he's going to be
looking to move on to the divisional round.
That is it.
But if we don't move on to the divisional round, then you're going to have to take a hard look at why you didn't move on to the divisional round.
Take a hard look at this coach and see if we someone we want to.
See if he can actually see if he can win in January, because we know he can't win in February.
Oh my God!
Exactly.
I was bringing up the quarterback spot. Well, we know we got a quarterback battle in August. Because if Purdy wins more games, if he wins like 3 games, if Purdy gets to the Super Bowl, I think he goes in to next season as a starter.
Right now,
no doubt.
Right now, even if he doesn't, I think still think he has a
he's
leg
already
up.
He's got the leg up.
He's a slight favorite right now, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's a leg up.
Every win that he gets, he
favorite.
goes up by 10%. Right now, it's probably 55-45.
I feel like I've learned my lesson trying to predict the 49er quarterback thing, too, because God knows it's like 7 months, 8 months.
Exactly. Could be Jimmy.
I have no idea.
Let me ask you guys
They could
this,
trade for someone. Who knows?
What if Purdy has a run like Jimmy Garoppolo in 2019?
Where he's just handing off?
Is that good enough to secure the starting job?
Wins. It's about wins. It's not about numbers.
Wouldn't you, like, that scenario would almost make me want to ask just weird questions. Like, why would that happen?
Why did they taper back the throwing?
You know, like, Dibs, you brought up that red zone efficiency thing yesterday, which, like, their stats have not gone up since
They've gone
Jimmy
down.
left. But someone explained this to me. Like, this is as simple as stats can get. I went through all of Jimmy's games this year.
Yeah.
The 49ers averaged 23 points a game.
Yeah, exactly.
All of Brock's games, they averaged 33 points a game. Like, that's not a coincidence.
I agree with you.
That's not a coincidence. So why, if this guy can do that, why would you start handing off 35 times? I mean, unless tomorrow you can't throw.
Yes.
Maybe he has a couple all-no throws early in the game.
Well, that's what happened in the Viking game.
Yeah.
So the week before, going back to 2019, Mark, like week 17, Jimmy was slinging up in Seattle.
18 to 22,
Then we get to the
285.
first half, and I'll never forget. I text him in the middle of the first half of the Minnesota game. I go, he cannot see the field right now. Like, what was the coach? Come on for the Vikings.
Mike Zimmer.
He was all over Jimmy's
Double A
stuff
gap
in the middle.
blitzes.
And the linebacker with the hair coming out, what's his name?
Eric
Harrison.
Was just sitting on everything. And he threw a pass to the
Anthony
wrong
Barr.
guy, and they ended up completing. And I said to Bunt, I go, they're not going to throw the rest of this game. And for like 2 straight weeks, Shanahan did not throw. And it was because of that one first half against Minnesota. Who knows what happens with Brock tomorrow? I have no idea.
I mean, he has not shown the propensity to play like that yet.
No.
He has not looked like that yet. So that would surprise me.
By the way, before we get out of here, quickly, all-pro teams. First team, all-pro. Nick Bosa, defensive end. Trent Williams, left tackle.
Sure.
Fred Warner Jr. at linebacker. Talanoa Hufanga.
4.
Safety.
Wow.
Hufanga.
Wow.
Pros.
Wow.
For the 49ers.
Was that voting done like 3 weeks ago? Because Hufanga, like, he's had a rough couple weeks.
He's my biggest worry.
He's had a rough couple weeks.
Worry. Him and Lenore is my worry.
He was not good in that Raider game.
By the way, Quinnen Williams, first team All-Pro for the New York Jets.
I'm still winning that Bosa bet.
Oh, yeah.
Quinnen Williams playing some damn good football.
He's
good football.
No one's saying he's not good. Bosa's got a Hall of
fits.
Fame resume
No
building right
They
now.
made the right choice.
Yes.
They made the right choice.
I was Team Quinnen Williams, and I can admit it. I thought that they should have gone to Quinnen Williams. I mean, the Bosa injury concern for me was a red flag, and Quinnen Williams was an absolute monster in the 3 technique.
No doubt. Look at you.
You're welcome.
Me and him, after one game, Tampa Bay, we're doing our little post-game show. I said to him, I think he's got Hall of Fame talent. He's like, what? One game? You saw 17 snaps? He lost his mind on me.
Not the first time. Probably not going to be the last time.
Quinnen Williams, every time his name comes up, my mind goes somewhere other than even just the Bosa Quinnen Williams thing. Dibs, probably, I think we've done this on our show. If you want to have a belly laugh today, go get the video of Quinnen Williams leading into the national championship game against Kyler Murray. When he's asked about Kyler Murray, and you can literally see a little mini Nick Saban show up on his right shoulder. They ask him about Kyler Murray, and he's literally about to unload some sort of, we do not think Kyler Murray is anywhere near as good as all of you. And he's about to say it, and you can just feel like the presence of Nick Saban shows up, and he's like, look, we don't think the and he just makes this noise, and he stops, and he's just like, nah, I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm chilling.
It is one of the funniest clips in the history of sports.
What do you guys got coming up today?
Oh, Brock or Flock? I want to know what you guys...
Flocka Flama?
No, Brock or Flock, which is... Because we started a little debate today. Would love to hear from a lot of listeners on this. You guys weigh in.
Yeah.
The 49ers right now, it feels like, even still, up 10 points a game from Jimmy. Is that because of Brock, or is it because of the whole flock?
Brock or Flock?
I'll give you my answer on Monday morning.
I'll take your answer off the air. You can text me.
Answer on Instagram tomorrow.
And by the way, I gave you a 4 for your AC/DC. It was really good.
I think I ruined my voice doing it,
No,
too.
it was pretty funny. My favorite moment of the show is you go from the highs of third down and the whole deal. Let's go to Gene in Oakland. It was great work.
Can you hear me?
And I love Gene in Oakland, but yeah, boy. Talk about a shift change.
That's it for us. You guys have a great weekend.
Jonathan
Niners Live
Chichu,
tomorrow.
line 1.
Willard and Dibs next.